There has been a little bit of everything in 2007. Brilliance, pace, determination, flair. That has continued on in our three finals so far this weekend. Today, as we welcome you live to Olympic Park in Melbourne, we round out our quarter-finals with the clash between the minor premiers, the Melbourne Storm, and the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Broncos.
Now, keep your wits about you when I go through this side, because there's been a lot of changes. Moving from the wing to fullback is Darius Boyd. On the wing, Steve Michaels and Elwyn Simpson making his first grade debut. In the centres, Nick Emmett, a great defender, will partner Justin Hodges, one of the game's most damaging runners. And in the halves, Sam Thaiday, what a bold move this is in jersey number 14, will be 5'8". He will partner Shane Perry. In the forwards, Ben Hannett will come off the bench to lock the scrum. And in the back row, Corey Parker and Big Brad Thorne. They'll need to be good this back three. Up front, Petro Sivanasivas, the captain, one front rower. Dane Carlaw is the other. An experienced there in Mick Roberts, who is the hooker. The interchange bench for the visitors reads this way: Greg Eastwood and Nick Kenny will partner Ian Lacey and Clifford Manua, and the coach is Wayne Bennett.
Yes, good looking side at fullback, Billy Wiz, Billy Slater. On the wings, Steve Turner and Anthony Quinn. Now, what a centre partnership. Big Matty King and this boy, Israel Folau. What a player. The halves, Matty Guy at a 5'8", Greg Inglis out. Cooper Cronk is in the 7, as we said before. The back row, we've got tough as nails, Dallas Johnson with Clint Newton, and a man who's had a wonderful season, Ryan Hoffman. Up front, Garrett Crossman comes in for Ben Cross, who's hurt his hamstring. Cameron Smith is the captain, and Brett White completes the front row. Now the bench, a good-looking bench. Jeremy Smith, Michael Crocker, what a key man he is. Jeff Lima, live wire, James Orbison, the coach, Dally M Coach of the Year, Craig Bellamy.
At Melbourne's Olympic Park, good afternoon, everyone. Lovely day in Melbourne. Quite a breeze blowing, but sunshine all the way for a healthy crowd here for the fourth qualifying final to round off weekend number 1. And I know the Brisbane side is decimated this afternoon, but it wasn't that dissimilar when they went down by a fairly narrow margin. We're underway in the fourth qualifying final of the Telstra Premiership, and it's a high kickoff from Brisbane. And they are running into the breeze in the first half as Cameron Smith goes second man to Crossman in the run-on side for Ben Cross. One of the two players to pull out. Inglis is out of this Melbourne side as Hoffman goes charging up the middle towards the 40-metre line. The opening minutes of every game important, but really Brisbane have got to hang in there. And as Phil Gould pointed out, they've got to make a pest of themselves as much as they can. Try and put them off their game, bustle them out of it, like the Roosters did 3 or 4 weeks ago. Played now by White, and it comes back to Cronk on the halfway, and he puts a kick down that swirls around before bouncing to Michaels, and Steve Michaels brings it away 15 metres out from the Brisbane line. They are guarding the southern end, or the river end of Olympic Park. This is their centre three-quarter, Nick Emmett, who's to play the ball in the centre of the ground on his own 20-metre line. The 21 is on debut. It is Elwyn Simpson from the Redcliffe Club. And if beaten here today, he'll be free to go back and play in that final that he's supposed to for Redcliffe next weekend. 23 years of age. Here's Sivanasivas taking it up and getting almost to the halfway line. 5 tackles gone then for Brisbane. Roberts is the dummy half, the 9. It's gone away then to the boot of Perry, and Perry's kick bounces a couple of times, 4 times, and Billy Slater all but knocked on. It went backwards, and Slater then came in for a buffeting from Brisbane, led by Brad Thorne. And this is Turner, the winger, taking it out to the 30-metre line. Steve Clark, in charge of this game this afternoon, has done 5 origins, but he hasn't picked up a grand final cap, the referee. That surprises me, but it goes from Smith and goes across to Johnson, the tireless lock forward for the Melbourne Storm. He will play it 8 metres from halfway. They sweep it left to the deputising 5'8" today, Matt Guy, and he'll get that job done admirably, I'm sure. In fact, a lot of people believe he's better off in the 6 in that position at 5'8" than he is out on the wing. So the kick pushed down the ground by the breeze will come back to the 20 for the restart.
And a strong breeze. You could see the effect that it had on that football. And that's going to be difficult for Cooper Cronk to get his kicking game spot on. Fine if you're looking to go for a 40-20 or for depth. Or when you're looking for a little bit more precision, not easy with the strong breeze at your back.
So Brad Thorne it was who took it out from the 20-metre restart, and this is Ben Hannand, who plays it back for Roberts. They go to the short side for Parker. Thaiday in the side is 5'8" this afternoon. It's the 13th half 5'8" combination that Brisbane have used this year. Sam Thaiday and Shane Perry. Justin Hodges with that right quadricep heavily taped. Roberts to the right again, and then it comes off the boot of Perry, the number 7 for the Broncos, and this wind is playing havoc. That's a good take by Cooper Cronk, back on his own 10-metre line, and again Turner goes in to take a run, and then Slater looks for an opening, but it's not there, not yet anyway, and now Israel Folau, and he gets a penalty for the Melbourne Storm. The forwards at marker were not direct. He may have even pinched them for inside the 10. Whichever way, it was a Brisbane forwards mistake. Israel Folau setting new figures for tries in a year. In his rookie year, he scored 21 tries. And you'll see more of him this afternoon, particularly that right kick from Cronk across for him. Johnson goes back to White, and White is tackled 27 metres away from the Brisbane line. Again, Cameron Smith sweeping it to Slater, and Slater got a ball away, which was taken by Newton. It was a good catch by the second rower. Now Cameron Smith darts from dummy half and gets it about 5 metres out from the line. To the southern end they go. Slater away for Cronk, and then he pops it up for Johnson, and Brisbane defending stoutly now. This is their first real test. Tackle 5. The halfback Cronk out to King. There's a try for Melbourne. Anthony Quinn, the former Novocastrian, has scored for Melbourne. 4-0 after 5.
And Craig Bellamy has shown great faith in keeping Anthony Quinn in the side. Nice decision to run on the last, and you'll see a beautiful pass here. The cutout pass created an overlap, left Justin Hodges in no man's land. Quinn improves the angle towards the posts. To retain his position as Smith tries to convert from wide out.
Smith, product of Logan City Rugby League. It's on its way, and it's coming across, and I don't think it's going to be the first one we'll see miss this afternoon. Matty Geyer going down to recover the kickoff, scrambling for a little bit, and then getting the ball away to Brett White. And now here's Ryan Hoffman taking it out 25 metres from his own line. 4-0 in favour of Melbourne. The try coming after 5 minutes of this fourth and final qualifier. Sivanasiva and Hannant making that tackle. Cameron Smith getting the ball away. Here's the try scorer Quinn. Out of the 40-metre line, again Sivanasiva the tackler. Smith's second man, Newton's with it. And Newton can put his hand up as well for a fair bit of that try, because he kept it alive, an ordinary pass. This kick down into the corner finds the line. Off the half-back Cronk, it finds the line down in the southwestern corner, down at the river end of Olympic Park.
It was a lovely ball by Cooper Cronk for the first try. The sweetness of that was that he gave Matt King time to run his 2-on-1. Too many halfbacks go close to the line and don't give the next man a chance to play. But Cooper Cronk gave that ball early. 2-on-1 between King and Quinn produced the points. And this little opening gambit here by the Storm is the best start to a semi-final I've seen of all the teams this weekend. It's been slow, methodical, purposeful, and they've got a result straight away.
And in the interim, we saw Sam Thaiday hammered by the Melbourne Storm defence. 3 of them hit him simultaneously, and they really shook Sam up. Deputising at 5/8 today. This is Carlaw, who plays the ball. He's off to the Super League in England next year. Now Sivanasiva spun around in the tackle and put on his back. And then Hannant goes up and runs almost adjacent to the ruck, and Cameron Smith is there to make the tackle. Again, welcome to our viewers in the southern state of Victoria, taking it live through GTV9 in Melbourne. You patronised the grand final in huge numbers last year, and I've got no doubt that you're looking forward to it again if Melbourne can make it. The Bundaberg Rum Man of the Match competition, that gives you a chance to win $1,000. All you have to do is correctly choose who will be the Bundaberg Man of the Match, and to enter you either phone or SMS the numbers at the bottom of the screen. The competition closes tonight at 5:20 with the winner announced on next Thursday's footy show of the NRL. Melbourne there on the attack again. Slater a dummy half again. Cronk away for Newton. And Clint Newton, who is tackled 10 metres out, loses the ball. Parker it was that made the tackle. He probably raked it. And referee Clark, standing on top of it, was quite happy with it. Here's Michaels with an arm draped over his shoulder, playing the ball 12 metres out from his line. Corey Parker now for the defending premiers, 35 metres out from their line. Played back for Justin Hodges with that strapping on his right thigh, but he's been a player, an outstanding player, probably the best centre in the game at the moment. But for much of his career, he's had to play basically with one leg. Well, that's my fix on it. It's been a wonderful career for Hodges to do what he's done with the incapacities that he suffered. Now Folau, who could get chosen for the Australian team to play New Zealand second weekend in October, and therefore would become the youngest ever Australian representative. To the halfway mark comes Melbourne with this 4-0 lead, and Johnson goes back looking for his 5/8 Geyer, and then the move goes horribly awry.
Well, yeah, but the idea was good. You could see the inexperienced winger Owen Simpson come racing in, and Matt Guy waited. Have a look at the man on his outside. If he could have found Matt King, King was in open space. Pass just went astray.
Yeah, I think that surprised Matty King. He'll feel a bit disappointed he didn't latch onto that. It was a real opportunity. He said that this is the best start by any teams through the finals. A lot of the teams have been excited, but it hasn't produced great execution. The Storm are excited about playing well. They put all their energy into doing the right things.
Sam Thaiday, wearing jumper number 14, playing the ball 35 metres out as Roberts goes for a run, and it's a long, long run. Indicative that the markers weren't working and the defence wasn't coming up. Hannon is with the ball, 12 metres out in front of the uprights at the northern end. Now Hannon not happy with the tacklers. It's gone wide out to Perry, short for Thaiday. Friday to play the ball within 5 metres of the line. 5 tackles gone for the Broncos. Roberts, a school teacher at Redcliffe, and it's on the ground after he attempted a little kick. And it's with Hoffman.
That was a great execution, I didn't think. And he's looked quite lively. The hooker, Mick Roberts, but on the last tackle here, not his best. Oh, well, it was deliberate back towards that way. Unfortunately, about 5 Melbourne players there waiting for him.
He nearly kicked it back up his trouser legs there. It was the shortest kick I've ever seen.
It was a short journey.
Cameron Smith clearing, but kicking it straight to Corey. No, it's Darius Boyd, I beg your pardon, coming up towards halfway. I was wondering what Corey Parker was doing back there. It's Darius Boyd playing in jumper 5, but playing at full back. They're all over the place here today, aren't they? Tony Carroll out of the game as well. And this is Emmett, the centre. Nick Emmett tackled on the 30-metre line, centre of the ground, tackled by White and Cronk. Now Sivanasiva thunders the ball ahead towards Crossman. And Crossman in 19, and the man with the head bandage is Hoffman. Now it's gone to Perry. Perry puts a grubbing kick in, and Quinn is going to watch it. Puts a guard on it. And it'll come back to the 20 for the restart for Melbourne, the minor premiers.
All the wingers in this competition get tested with all sorts of kicks. And every now and then they've got to make a decision whether they're going to make a play at the ball or let it run. And Quinn here, he was in 2 minds, 3 minds. Will I, won't I? Shielded it dead, did very, very well. They're under pressure all the time, the outside backs.
Hoffman again. Good metres. Out to the 40. Second tackle. Now they've come away to the 17 for Melbourne, which is Jeff Lima playing in the purple, or the Melbourne Storm headgear. And here's nice work. Slater, up the middle goes Billy Slater, and then he runs into Darius Boyd. And that's a good effort by Boyd. They still haven't put Slater down. They don't have to. He's been called held in an upright position. Now to Cronk and over to Clint Newton. On now to Israel Folau. A backhander for Turner who'll score. Turner, he gets over the line. Did he put it down safely? They're going to the video referee to check it.
It looked pretty good from a distance. And nice lead-up play. Billy Slater went through the middle again, looking so dangerous, Billy Slater around the middle of that ruck area. And they've come to the right-hand side, and Clint Newton does very well here, as does Israel Folau. This is the finish. His legs are in the field of play. It looks okay from that angle. We'll have a look from front on now. Watch a touch of shadow there. He puts the arm out. Stays with the football. I think it's a try.
Such a try. We'll take a break. Back in a moment. Now Cameron from the touchline and 26 metres out. Breeze coming across it. Hits it. He's pushed it out there, letting the Breeze do some work, but it's done too much.
Now this try was scored on the outside, but I want you to watch the way the Melbourne Storm pries open the Broncos on the inside. Good work out of dummy half. Short run back in behind the play the ball. Good yards. He'll get up quickly and play the ball, and they're all pushing up around the ruck. Good yards. Now all of a sudden some playmakers come into the action. Cameron Smith out, onto Cooper Cronk, onto Billy Slater, gap up the middle. That puts the Broncos at 6s and 7s. As soon as they've got them up the middle, they go to the edges, strip them short, and they're able to score in the corner. That was done on the inside to score on the outside.
Here's Lima in 17 with a good run, returning the kickoff, and Dallas Johnson was on the end of a big tackle from Sivana-Seaver and Thorne. You couldn't pick combined weight of two men any bigger in the NRL. Sivana-Seaver and Thorne. Now it's away for Brett White, and White has tackled 9 metres short of halfway. Again Sivana-Seaver and Roberts this time making the tackle. Smith gets it on for Lima, just a short pass, and Lima is able to get just over the advantage line, towards the halfway line in fact, and Cronk then drops it onto the right foot, and down she goes and bounces up favourably for the full-back Darius Boyd.
See, all those short little hit-ups by the Melbourne Storm, it doesn't let the Broncos get their defence into the game. That's where they lost the grand final last year. The Broncos defence got up and bustled them by continually going over the advantage line and chipping away at them. They've got the Broncos going backwards on every play of the ball.
Emmett then with a run from dummy half out to the 40-metre line, held down by Lima with some help there from Dallas Johnson. Here's Hodges swiveling, swerving, probing, and just another little example of the elusiveness of Justin Hodges. Here's Perry getting it off for Parker, and Parker is about 37 metres out from the line. Plays the ball to Michaels. Michaels back to Perry. He gets a stabbing kick away very hurriedly. And it's now with Billy Slater, who runs into Roberts and Eastwood. And Ben Aiken on the sideline.
Yeah, Rabs, look, I think the simple fact is the Broncos probably haven't got the strike power out there today to match the Storm for point scoring ability. So what they're going to have to focus on is their defence. And I think it's in 3 areas. They need good line speed, they need to get numbers in tackles to slow down the play of the ball, and they need to tighten up through the middle, or the Storm are going to continue to do what Gus pointed out all day long.
Friday and Thorne, they jointly put King away. It was a heavy tackle, back slammed him down, and then a similar reception for Geyer, a brute big hit probably. Here's Lima again, figuring prominently and frequently as he plays the ball back. There's a, well, he's got a knock on out of Melbourne. Brad Thorne was lying in the play the ball area. Cameron Smith had to step across him, and in so doing knocked on. And that seems, I know it seems unfair. Player's responsibility is to roll away out of the ruck area, and Brad Thorne did not do that. Here is Thaiday.
They need to get something out of this time at the end of the field, given the football in good field position pretty much for the first time in the opening quarter here.
Perry back for Eastwood.
They don't score, Ray. They've got to get a restart. Under the post, line drop out.
Roberts then over for Perry, and Perry shows it to Thorne, goes behind Parker, picks up Robert, and down the sideline goes the wing three-quarter Michaels. And corner post gone, tempers are fraying.
There's something about this corner down here, the north northeastern or northwestern corner. I think last time we had a little stink in this corner, the last time the two teams played. He was looking for the gap here, it wasn't available. See how they backed off the outside players there, Turner and Folau forced him towards the sideline. Slater will come across. That was an easy defensive play. Maybe something said, something done, a little bit of a reaction. You don't need much to get things started when you don't like each other.
Might just be a little bit of different fertiliser down in that bottom corner, Gus. It's the northwestern, by the way. We always work on the western side.
Sometimes you're just looking for an excuse too.
Here's Turner. The two wingers have got the tries for Melbourne. The first came after 5 minutes. The second was 10 minutes later. And here's the captain, Cameron Smith, out to the 30-metre line.
What does the fertiliser do?
Well, Gus was saying there's something down in the corner. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but it could be a different batch of fertiliser.
Oh, he's come out of that collision. Mick Roberts, a little bit dusty, but he's straight up. He's a tough rooster.
Oh, Lima! Taken over the top by Seven Seaver. And Thaiday underneath. And that was a brute big hit. The kick down the ground for Simpson. He bats it back. And it goes dead, but it's in the touch anyway, the touch judge says.
He was in a no-win situation there, the poor little winger. Mr. Simpson, a magnificent kick by Cronk. It was a 40-20, he had to play at it. And there was no wind here. He's way inside his 40. The breeze gets under it. Simpson races back. I'll get it. Knocks it dead in goal. It was a win for the Storm either way.
Well, he was hoping for the better of two bad options there was the winger, Simpson. If he'd have knocked it dead in goal, line dropout might have picked up a little bit more ground than the 10 metres out from their own line that Melbourne are about to take advantage of. Cronk feeds.
Back of the scrum play, Slater for Quinn.
Ooh.
And Quinn throws it back in. Melbourne, they've got the ball back, Melbourne. Quinn is with it. 6 more. That is the first tackle. King. Put down 3 metres out from the line. The sweep will be on. Here's Lima. Taking a short side play, a dangerous play, close to the sideline. I wonder will Cronk put the kick in this time for Folau. It's gone to Johnson. And Johnson is 12 metres out for the line. 8-0 in favour of Melbourne. Smith goes back to Gaia. Beats one. Gets up and goes again. 5 metres out from the line on 5. Smith looks at Cronk, gives it to him. He passes to Folau. There's that same pass again. And Turner this time is tackled.
Good patience there by Cooper Cronk. I guess he could have been tempted to go for a kick, but that could have risked a 20-metre tap. And it's not a bad place to turn the ball over, a yard out from the opposition line. Look at the defence rev up now, and now it'll just be dumbing half runs and 1 out hit-ups. And the Storm are just teeing up to get a big shot in. Brute big hit coming.
Carlo underneath that tackle from Hoffman, Johnson and Lima. Lacey is the acting half now, the dummy half, as it goes across to Thaiday.
That was an excellent take from Sam Thaiday. Wasn't expecting the ball in behind him. Difficult conditions, he grabbed it in.
This is Kenny. Nick Kenny is on in jumper number 16 for the Broncos. He plays it back. Lacey swings it back for the kick from Perry. And Perry's kick is going straight to Slater. Here he comes, Slater. Over halfway and taken on the Broncos' 40-metre line. Not a bad place to start a new set. Now Turner, just beyond 30. Seven Seaver and Lacey making the tackle. Slater away for Quinn, and Quinn is tackled. 25 metres out from the line. Full back and 2 wingers on the 3 plays. Now it's gone with Cameron Smith over to the left of the ground. 4th tackle gone. Played by Smith. Gaia passes to Cronk, who throws a dummy and then goes himself, and Thaiday makes a successful tackle. King, back it comes for Gaia. There goes the kick for Folau. He misses it. Turner puts it down. Turner scores. They've all missed it, I fancy.
Check to see what happened here.
Well,
I don't think Israel Folau has got a touch on it.
No, but they're going back to have a look and see. whether the Brisbane player was impeded here. We'll have a look at onside as well, but it all looks okay. Kick was a deliberate one from Matt Geyer. Normally they do kick for Folau or King. This one actually goes over his head. He's close to being behind the kick, or close enough from that distance there. I can't see a problem with that.
Well, their obsession was Folau, wasn't it? They knew the kick was coming for him. They all raced in on him, put him off. He didn't get a touch to it. And Turner's thinking, well, how easy is this? I've got no one in front of me. They all went in on Izzy Folau, and Turner is the recipient again. Put up the laptop. Try.
It's a new move for Melbourne. The Clayton's up and under. We'll take a break. Another try for the Storm. Old stadium in Melbourne. Been around for a few years, hasn't it? And about to say goodbye to Melbourne for this year. They'll play, if they make the final, Telstra Dome in a fortnight. And Steve Turner, I told you about him earlier. They were tossing and turning and pulling and shoving. The Gold Coast Titans, the Jetstar Titans, and of course the Melbourne Storm, and eventually Turner finishing up here in Melbourne. And he's a very happy chappy that he is, I guess. 2 tries today, 15 and 26 minutes.
Does he kick further to the left this time, Ray? He'll have learnt something from his last conversion. You think he might aim further out?
He has, Peter, but it's gone straight. It's gone straight.
Oh, they do that.
Ah, dear. Matthew Johns, sideline.
Yeah, good kick by Matty Guy there, but again, just put it down to the presence of that boy. The babyface assassin, old Israel Folau, and he flies up and they scramble towards him. Izzy lets it go. And Stevie Turner, 2 weeks ago, they thought his season was over. Picks up a double in the first half already.
Outside, boys.
Yeah, they came in on Israel Folau like bees to a honeypot, didn't they? This is Lima, one of those forwards that I was talking about when doing a Melbourne match the other day. They seem to come to Melbourne with not no illustrious names about them, but gee, they go up a cog and they get the job done for Craig Bellamy. Here's a penalty. It's up around the neck.
Well, that's in their recruitment. They buy body shapes. They buy body shapes and player types to do a job. They understand that this is a position they want them to play. That's the role we want you to play. And then they go and buy a body type and teach him to do it. And it's just a well-oiled machine. It is easily the best coach team in rugby league.
Here's Lima again. He must be getting paid by the hitter. Sivan Asiva might be getting paid by the tackle. Here's Johnson underneath Sivan Asiva. Down low was Eastwood. But here comes Melbourne again. This time it's Jeremy Smith to the 10-metre line. Play back to Cameron Smith. Goes back to Jeff Lima. And Lima runs into Thaiday and Carlo. Hodges calling for help over the other side. They come back to the middle. Oh, that's a good tackle on Jeremy Smith by Eastwood and Sivan Asiva. Cameron Smith's got it away to Cooper Cronk, and that was a nice little take by Corey Parker.
But that shows why they've been keen to run the football on the last, or the little kick from Guy. It's difficult to kick the football here with the wind behind and not put it dead. So Cooper Cronk tried to straighten the kick up, but by doing that, you lessen the gap to kick through and make it an easier target for the opposition just to take.
12-0 the score, 3 tries, no goals for Melbourne. As they go across to the right of the ground for Carlaw to be tackled on the 20-metre line. Tackled by Matt King. Hodges has taken a dummy half by King, who must have only just been in front of the man playing the ball. Now Perry can't get a kick away. He gives it to Parker. Parker looks back to get rid of the ball. He takes a speculator. And it's picked up by Brisbane, but it's the changeover. Lacey came up with it, but that's the reason for the urgency. Good pressure from Melbourne. Lima, 15 out, centre ground. Cameron Smith, Jeremy Smith. metres from the line. Cronk is over to the right side. That's him with the ball. Newton gets it to 2 metres. Folau and Turner wait on the short side. Now it comes away from Michael Crocker. It's gone over to Cronk and then a run around, and it's come back to Geyer. And Geyer is tackled. And another penalty to Melbourne. Inside the 10, he was playing an advantage, the referee.
He was off by a mile. Dan Carlo was miles. That's your mark.
So Melbourne go for the line with Michael Crocker.
Make that line, hold.
20 matches for Melbourne. He's been a member of the winning side on 20 occasions. From Cameron Smith to Cooper Cronk and then out to Ryan Hoffman. Hoffman is tackled 9 metres from the line. Cameron Smith again, low for Cronk, out for King. King looks to get it around the corner to Quinn. Takes the tackle. Geyer gives it back to Quinn. Quinn tries to slice through. Got the first try after 5 minutes. Plays the ball 3 metres out. Cameron Smith crabbing across the ground. Now it's to Slater. Now Folau. Oh, they came in to take him, but they couldn't hold him. And here's Folau stepping. He got the ball back to his captain. Cameron Smith's over. Cameron Smith's over. And Clint Newton, he points the finger at Izzy Folau and says that's your try.
They were offered 2 points in front of the post with Dane Carlaw ruled inside the 10. They went for more, and it's now justified. It was a good decision made by Steve Michael to come in here to try and make the tackle, but the problem was he didn't stop the man, Folau, who headed back infield, kept the arm alive, and Cameron Smith, look at the determination here, just to get that left arm free and ram the football down next to the posts.
Looking for another shot at the big one. Cameron Smith has got a conversion attempt from right in front. Happy days. And this time he's got it.
Unbelievable. Israel Folau, this kid, 18 years of age, just watch the power in this. The pass wasn't a good one and got him one-on-one with the defence, but he shrugs away, right foot step again. It's the last play, he doesn't panic. Right foot step again, then ever so delicately gets it off to Smith, who doesn't panic, shows his own strength and gets the ball back in goal. The composure in this Melbourne Storm team today is brilliant.
And here they go again with King down the left side. He's away, he's got one to beat. He beats him, but they are able to catch up to him. The pursuers, Friday caught him. Lima up towards the 20. Plays the ball back for Hoffman. Hoffman towards centre ground. Quinn, Geyer, Cronk, behind Newton, Slater, Smith, forward pass.
Oh, gee whiz. It's a hard, I've said this a number of times. When you're going sideways, it's a very hard pass to turn the ball straight away back inside because your body won't turn. And I thought that he did a really good job, Slater. This is the break from the kickoff. Hoffman will go up and with the big right arm around the corner, gets it away to King. King just palms off with the right hand, palms off again, breaks into the backfield. And then they came across for a nice little set play down this right-hand short side. It was a pass that I thought was line ball at best.
And they've got the ball and they're over. Geyer. Matty Geyer has scored for Melbourne. 5 tries. After 34 minutes. 22-0. And the old fella, the deputy 5'8", Matty Geyer has scored.
And it is a baptism of fire for Alwyn Simpson, who took the pass from the scrum win. But the defence, crunching defence there from Ryan Hoffman, forced the ball loose straight into the arms of Michael Crocker, who offloads to Matt Geyer under the posts. And they're having a good time, aren't they?
9 seasons completed.
Isn't that great camera work, Robinson, to have the sound out there, to listen to the half and 5'8" talking. And what Cronk is saying, keep taking metres. Whatever metres are available, take it. But when I want it, give it to me. Now that's a bloke fully in charge of his team. Take the metres, then give it to me when I want it.
So the conversion successful from Cameron Smith. Matty John sideline again.
Yeah, they're playing very well, Rabbits, but they got their focus right today. At 24-0 after 34 minutes, you think that the Melbourne Storm would come here with a cavalier attitude or playing like the Harlem Globetrotters. They actually came here today not to chase points, play conservative early on, play through the Broncos, play direct, and it's worked very well for them.
Corey Parker kicking it to Matty Guy. I was about to say 9 seasons completed for Melbourne, and they've made the final 7 times, the last 4 in succession. They've won a grand final, they lost another. They lost last year to today's opponents, Brisbane. But I should point out, for the benefit of our viewers that are new to us through South Australia and Victoria, this is a decimated Brisbane. So many of their top names, probably 5 of them, out for the season many weeks ago. Slater to ground, picked up by Newton. Newton inside the 40-metre line. That's not meant to detract from Melbourne's performances, by the way.
Billy's in front.
Cronk puts in a skyscraper. Simpson, the debutant, equal to the task that time. Tackle by Matt Geyer. Epitomising what Melbourne must do. They've got to stay committed. 24-0. Keep their enthusiasm in the game. And when you see when I say old, veteran players leading the chase, like Matty Geyer, that can only breed enthusiasm. Penalty goes to Brisbane.
An interesting statistic, Ray, probably been overlooked in our call. Petro Civoniceva left the field after 34 minutes play. In that time, he had made 34 tackles. So Petro is leaving nothing there in his last game for the Broncos. He's been tremendous in defence, trying to inspire his teammates. I don't know how the Broncos are going to get a try. It can only come through Hodges.
There's Lacey combining with Parker, and Parker with Emmett. And Emmett off his left foot. Playing it to Lacey. Straight through, tunnel ball. And Brisbane get a penalty. Lacey takes the shot for line. Tap to be taken 20 metres in. 16 metres out. Brad Thorne, Shane Perry, Sam Thaiday. Carlo ran a decoy, no obstruction. And Sam Thaiday plays it to Justin Hodges. Perry across the face of Eastwood, finding Thorne. And Brad Thorne is 6 metres away from the line. Really, have they been down here? Perry, away from Michaels, and again, he's into touch, short of the line.
Well, again, an illustration of why they are the best defensive team in the competition. They are the best at getting out to the 10-metre line when needed, but then they make the right decision when they get closer to the line, just taking the space away from the ball carrier. Steve Michaels had nowhere to go except over the sideline.
So the key there is Turner. Turner backs off, and he virtually says to Michaels, well, if you're going to go around Folau, you're going to have to go around me too. And as soon as Michaels knows he can't do that, he starts to stutter. And when he stutters, then Folau makes up the ground easy and pushes him into touch. It's what they call a back-off defence, a retreat defence. And they do it expertly.
Matt Geyer underneath the tackle of Brad Thorne and Ian Lacey. Turner. That's a solid hit by Eastwood in combination with Parker. Cameron Smith taking Clint Newton with him. And Newton 35 metres away from the Melbourne line. Lima goes back behind Jeremy Smith, and it goes to Matt Geyer, then to Hoffman. Hoffman to King. King piles on some speed. 2 metres into Brisbane's territory. Tackled by Sam Thaiday. 5 tackles gone. Through the hands they go. Cameron Smith. Now it goes away. And it comes from Cronk. On the bounce for Turner. Turner scores 3. Turner scores 3.
What about the move he puts on his opposite number here, Steve Turner? This is twinkle toes at its best.
Well, he did it in the first try as well, except they were at closer quarters. Last tackle option again, running the football. I thought Cooper Crockett actually made a wrong decision. He had an unmarked man on his inside. Just have a look after he goes through. Cooper Crockett there, he had a speed man in under the post, but he went wide where there were plenty of troops. And Steve Michaels, well, he's just having a nightmare against Steve Turner. Beaten all ends up the first try and the third. He went looking for Israel Folau on the second, and Turner said thank you for that as well.
What's this? Turner stops him and then goes, where did Michaels go? Well, which way did he go?
3 tries then to Steve Turner. And the Melbourne bench went up collectively, as they've done many times in 40 minutes of football this afternoon. Turner's tries at the 15th, the 26th and the 39th minutes. Anthony Quinn was first to score. Cameron Smith and Matt Geyer have bagged the other 3 tries between them. And Smith with another one of these kicks with the breeze across it from the sideline.
Where's he going to aim, Rams?
Big button.
Where's he going to aim?
Oh, Pete, I've given up. We
Split the difference this time.
He was going to push it out almost parallel to the goal line, and it went as straight as a gun barrel.
Is he going to kick it straight this time?
Here it goes. It's on its way. The breeze has stopped blowing. Every time he aims it out there, the breeze doesn't work for him.
That's because he's trying to kick it out there. If he wants to kick it like that, he's got to aim at the near upright and hold it up into the breeze. It's like hitting a little punt 7-iron into the breeze, Ravish. You know all about that. Just to hold it up.
How do you get a punch?
Pretty healthy status. Cameron Smith gets us underway second half.
And rather fortuitously, the ball was taken just before it crossed the sideline by Corey Parker. Melbourne running into the breeze in the second half, a breeze that has given some problems to Cameron Smith in some of his goal-kicking endeavours. And here's a penalty from Clark immediately to Brisbane. Melbourne inside the 10 metres. And Shane Perry finding the line over on the eastern side.
It's a nice kick.
In. It's a busy precinct in Melbourne today, with a game on over at the G as well. Now from Brad Thorne away to Dane Carlaw. Another of those departing the Broncos at the end of this season. Lacey turning it over to Greg Eastwood, and Eastwood 7 or 8 metres away from the Melbourne Storm line. Lacey away for Carlaw, and Carlaw is pulled down and tackled by Matty Guy, playing at 5'8" with Greg Inglis unavailable today. Now from Perry, it's gone away to Kenny, a little run around, and Perry then fires a very high pass away for Corey Parker, and Israel Folau rides him into the ground. 12 out from the line then. This is Nick Emmett, the centre, and he too is taken by Folau. 7 metres away from the Melbourne line, down at the river end of the ground. And it's Perry who rolls it in, and Matty King, and that was an example of the confidence.
That was an awful set of 6 from the Broncos. I know they've got players missing, but they took 3 one-out runs to set up for their big play. When the big play come, which was a bit of a long pass and a run around, absolutely every player who got the ball got it standing still before they could run. Right on the head. Let's hope it's not neck related here. I think it's totally accidental. He actually makes a bit of a lunge so he doesn't have a voluntary tackle and hits himself on the knee.
King back on his feet, and they've taken him from the field. So Melbourne just looking to see, in fact, have they replaced Matty King? As we come back, it's Michael Crocker taking it away for Melbourne, and Matt King is off, and Melbourne putting Brett White back into the game. So from Cameron Smith, they look for the kick from Cronk, and Cronk drives it down towards that sideline where Michaels comes away from it, the eastern side, runs it towards the middle, and Clint Newton and Jeremy Smith combine to make the tackle. Now they take it up the middle with Kenny, and Matt King, who suffered that what looked like a neck injury, is okay and walking, as you can see, unaided back to the benches, but I doubt that he'll come back into the game with the scoreboard the way it is. Mind you, it might happen to change dramatically as it's played by Hodges. Then to Perry. Perry to Thaiday. Thaiday got rid of Matt Geyer, has held on to Hoffman. And eventually Lima comes over the top and they round Sam Thaiday up. The ball goes away to Perry and Perry puts a kick in. The Breeze working on it. And Slater in the in goal, marking. So it comes back to the 20-metre line for the restart for the Melbourne Storm. Michael Crocker to ground just inside his 30-metre line. Sam Thaiday and Greg Eastwood with Dane Carlaw helping in the tackle. Now Lima is met and put down by Eastwood again, together with Nick Kenny. And then back and on the inside for Brett White. And White gets it out to the 40-metre line where Lacey and Kenny combine to make the tackle. Slater goes across, picks up Matt Geyer. Geyer saw a little opening and tried to slide through it, but Sam Thaiday closed it up. Hoffman then pinches some ground away from dummy half, easy meters, and plays the ball back for Cameron Smith, who kicks it short down towards Simpson. And Simpson is met by Quinn. Together with Geyer, they're heading towards the sideline, but he doesn't go into touch.
That's nice terminology you use there, Ray. Pinch some metres, because that's been Melbourne's attitude all day. If there's space in front of them, they take it. They don't hesitate. That's the way to play the Broncos. They've stuck to it for the whole game.
Darius Boyd on his own 20-metre line. Ball goes away to Brad Thorne, and Thorne is picked up and spun around. In fact, he finished up on his stomach under the tackle of Michael Crocker. And that was never the purpose of that type of tackle. Corey Parker did well. Perry was there supporting. Nick Emmett is with the ball now. Runs into Lima and Smith and is put down just inside the 40-metre line. Brisbane's end of the park. Lacey back for Perry. Shows it to Kenny. Gives it to Thorne. Thorne is taken by Hoffman. And Cameron Smith in number 9.
Again, they're all standing still. All the ball runners are standing still when they receive it. You can't go anywhere.
Perry getting it away, and then Carlaw thrusts it down. It's picked up by Hodges, who gets away from Hoffman. And then he puts a kick on and he's barreled over the sideline. It's taken by Billy Slater, and Slater comes back to the 20. Gives the ball out to Turner, the scorer of 3 tries in the first half. And Turner, a quick play the ball for Slater, but Slater is met by Michaels, and now Folau comes up to Lacey, and Lacey goes in low, and Eastwood goes over the top, and they put Folau away. The ball going away to Newton now, and he runs a short side play to 9 metres from halfway. Turner dummy half, Crocker a handle, the ball away to Jeremy Smith, and to the halfway line he goes before being tackled by Dane Carlaw. Cameron Smith again with that left foot kick going straight down to Darius Boyd, and Boyd comes away from the 10 and runs it out towards the 20. Newton's after him with Folau down Melbourne's right side. And Folau and Newton make the tackle. This is Emmett.
I had the comment last night, Ray, concerning South Sydney up against Manly, that when you've got more talented opposition, you've got to make sure that the statistics favour you to give yourself the best chance. Matt Johns has pointed out it's almost 2-1 the possession against the Brisbane side in the opening 40 minutes. The other thing I can't understand is why Brisbane opted to run into the Breeze and not take advantage of something that could help set a trend in the opening 20-30 minutes of the game.
Is Hodges with a dummy half scurry and then takes the tackle and offloads back to Carlaw. A couple of the senior men. A couple of the men that Brisbane were basing a lot of their hopes on this year, combining there. And then Perry puts the kick away. Slater covers a lot of ground, takes it on the run. Hardly losing speed. Now he turns the speed on. They're waving back in the middle. He beats another. He comes back and around behind Cronk. Cronk is waving for the kick in the center of the ground. Slater eventually tackled. 20 metres out. Cronk. Quinn is with him, but Cronk takes the tackle. Penalty to Melbourne. A flop against Brisbane. And Ben Hannons and Dane Carlaw with the tackling.
Well, he attacks everything, Billy Slater. That was a great run, and we're sitting opposite the grandstand, and when he was coming towards the end of that run, they were in raptures. The big step, gets away. Darius Boyd shows good speed to put it with him, but gets fended off. He goes back in for it. Can't find support in the right place. Comes back on the outside, and the crowd are loving every second of that run.
Now points are on offer. This is what you would do on grand final day, so that's what they've done. They've kicked the goal, they'll get it back.
Cameron Smith taking it out to 30 points to 0 in favour of Melbourne. Corey Parker with the restart, and Matt Guy had to cover a lot of ground to take that ball. It's a good effort by Guy to get there. Can't quite understand how the hole was so big. Maybe Melbourne were deceived by the breeze. 25 metres out from their own line, Melbourne. Matt Guy, the deputising 5'8". I shouldn't say that because, believe me, he is a very competent number 6.
Played 6 when they won their comp. Back in '99, he played at 6 in the grand final.
I think he played 6 in a State of Origin game as well.
Played by Lima now, and it's gone to the short side for Cronk to go over to Folau, who just tramples over the top of one, brushes off another, and then is tackled from behind.
And the Brisbane player has not moved at the back.
And Cronk puts a kick high and across. Hoffman's after it, and Simpson was in the field of play and then went back in goal. It's a line drop out, but we've got a problem with the Brisbane player that Folau ran straight over the top of.
Oh yeah. We'll come back to that kick in a minute because we want to make sure this young man's okay.
It's Nick Emmett.
Yeah, just got his head in the wrong position. Low tackling head on. Don't start me. The big Folau just ran straight over the top of him. Let's hope he's okay. It was a wonderful kick by Cooper Cronk. Here it is again. Head down in the wrong position. Stand up and make your tackle. Watch the way he thumps this way into the distance. Gets the breeze to hold it up. So it comes back into the field of play. Inch perfect. Now they force him back into the in goal. That is a brilliant kick. Sterler, how hard's that? To kick a ball into the breeze like that and land it there.
Yeah, sometimes it's very, very difficult to do, to gauge the distance. And if he didn't give it everything, now they can come back over your head. But to get it to come down and force a line drop out, well, that's a rare one, that.
Garrett Crossman. Kick return for Melbourne. Now Brett White. The line drop out was taken by Sam Thaiday to give you some indication of the breeze. I wouldn't think Sam would rate himself as a long drop kicker of the ball, but he managed to get it to go 55 metres from contact to landing. So Sam Thaiday, the stand-in 5/8 with the line drop out. That's gone forward, that ball, and it's play on advantage. It's Corey Parker with the ball. And Matty Guy makes the tackle on the Brisbane 40-metre line. It's with Perry, and Perry comes to the defence and decides to go back and across towards Sivanasiva, but he doesn't get there. Lacey goes to Sivanasiva, and Sivanasiva's up to halfway, but they're inside the 10. Melbourne, that is. 30 points to nothing. Just 2 points added in the second half by Melbourne. They took a penalty shot.
Come on, Rabbits. We've got to get Tetro over the line in his last game for the Broncos. Can he score a try, the big boy? He won't do it hitting it up first up, but we might see him later in the set of 6.
15 from the line. Petro Sivanasiva, bound for Penrith. 215 games alongside his name today for the Broncos. Hodges, ball taken from him and picked up by Anthony Quinn for Melbourne. He's not beaten yet, now he is.
It's always bad when the referee walks over slowly after giving up a penalty. It's usually a sign he wants something to say.
Just high shot, get it down.
No, he's tempted himself. High shot, okay. Let's go on. Always hated it when they give the penalty, then walk slowly as though they were considering their options.
The ball gets taken out. The grass there from Justin Hodges. He claims the penalty. And then he comes back and does not miss Anthony Quinn.
Ah, dear, oh dear.
Now, Brett White, wrapped up, head and all, by Sivanasiva. Play about 7 metres on the Melbourne Storm side of halfway with Michael Crocker playing the ball. This is Garrett Crossman, right on halfway now. So Cameron Smith with a short ball up for Crocker, and Crocker makes another 10 metres for Melbourne, held by Thorne and Sivanasiva. Ball from Smith, across from Johnson. Johnson to Geyer, and Geyer is held by Hodges and Thaiday put him on the conveyor belt and put him back a few more metres. Down the left side goes Hoffman. He was looking for his winger, and Anthony Quinn got lost for a moment. Dallas Johnson, Brett White, good work. Michael Crocker, knock on Slater.
And there was a chance there. Anthony Quinn, it was the last tackle. He went in field to chase a kick. They came the short side. Cameron Smith read it. Hoffman wanted him there. Brisbane get another penalty. Shane Perry will find touch. And Dallas Johnson back out for Melbourne. Came off after half an hour and had a pretty long break for him, 20 minutes.
They've just got untidy, Melbourne, haven't they, the last few minutes, giving away some simple penalties.
Sivanasiva then, 25 metres out from the Melbourne line. Tackled by Brett White together with Dallas Johnson. Then from Perry, it's gone to Carlaw. Carlaw held in the middle of the ground, around the legs by Hoffman, and forcing him down over the top is Cameron Smith and Garrett Crossman. Now to Ben Hannant. He goes back behind Sivanasiva, goes to Perry. Perry gets it on. Parker's with it. Now it's Eastwood. And Eastwood is up on the 10-metre line, flicks it out the back, and it's now with Boyd, and Boyd is tackled. 3 metres from the Melbourne line. And now they can practice some defence. This is one of the few times they've been under any pressure at all. Manua is on for Brisbane. And then it's gone to Perry. Perry away for Justin Hodges, who runs into Matt Guy, but the ball has gone forward. So Clark will put a scrum down 10 metres away from the Melbourne line.
And Clifford Manure out there now for the Brisbane Broncos in jersey 18. Melbourne Storm yet to use James Orbison. Did play against Parramatta a couple of weeks ago, just using 16 players. They didn't call on Will Chambers at all.
Keep it in, just.
We'll keep an eye and see whether the young Orbison, who's off to the Roosters next season, gets a start in this last half hour, 25 minutes.
Here it is, Corey. Here, come Corey.
Play by Falau, 12 metres out from the uprights. Matt Guy with a dummy half scurry, and he's on the phone there. Orbison to the coach, getting his final riding instructions. Just sit this off the pace, and when you see the gap, go for it. Now he's got them for inside the 10, Brisbane.
Yeah, it's difficult for players and coach, and I'm talking about the Melbourne Storm here. Now, they've got this game wrapped up. They're not going to lose today. They're going to get a fortnight off. If and when do you start to rest players, or do you leave them out there? The players, you know, they want to go flat out, but they've got bigger things in mind down the track. It's just a difficult little period mentally here.
Crossman taken by Lacey, and Lacey reeled away from the tackle in pain with what seems to be an arm problem with Ian Lacey. Ball played inside the 30-metre line. Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk back on the inside. Johnson taken there by Manua. Now it's gone away to Cronk again. Back it goes to Newton. Newton flops it down to Falau. Falau steps off his right foot, and he's tackled 7 metres out from the line. Israel Falau playing the ball for Cameron Smith to go to Cronk, and here's Slater. Slater will score. Downward pressure. There was a bit of an off break on Alwyn Simpson. He had it covered, but then it took a little break, and Slater pounced on it.
And the old firm combining there. Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater, deliberately kicking number 1, going through, and Simpson tried to attack the football, missed. Slater was there.
Falau from 15 metres out, and he gets it there just inside that right hand upright, but the flags are in the air. And Storm 36, the Broncos no score. Matthew Johns.
Big shuffle for Craig Bellamy's men at the moment. Matt Guy has actually come off the field, replaced by James Orbison. Now, what'll happen, Cameron Smith will go to 5'8". Now, it's a dummy half. Cameron Smith, skillful, wily, plays at a slower tempo, very clever. Now, this Orbison, he's a live wire. The tempo may actually go up a cog here.
Corey Parker again. with the restart. And talking of Orbison, that was him who took the ball in the in goal before asking Crossman to take it away. The 18 is Orbison playing dummy half, and Brett White is held in a three-man Bronco tackle by Sivanasiva and Hannon. Among the trio, here's Johnson, and Johnson is just beyond the 20-metre line, and he will play it in the centre of the ground down the southern end of the park here as it comes away with Quinn, who was the first to score after 5 minutes. He plays it on the 30-metre line. Smith decides to hang on and go himself, but Hannett is able to make the tackle originally, and then Parker completed it. Orbison sweeping it away to Cronk to Slater. Slater kicks, going down towards Carlaw and Hodges, and it's been put on the toe by Michael Crocker, knocked on by Darius Boyd. Now what's the referee going to do? He's ruled him offside, I'd say, Crocker.
He's got everybody inside the 10. All in front of the kicker. He did look to the touch judge for some help as Justin Hodges was given the mark and plays on. There's the kick.
Hodges taking a quick tap, and now Sivanasiva gritting the teeth and met by Orbison, Brett White and Crocker. Roberts is back with us in the 9, and then Perry giving it on the inside for Hannant, and they're 40 metres out from the Melbourne line. The minor premiers 36, the defending premiers no score. Manua, who debuted with Cronulla at Toyota Park back in 2005. Now Perry behind Carlaw, he gives it to Thaiday, and Thaiday originally beat Hoffman. Ball taken away by Cameron Smith, and he's going to penalise this time, which begs the question, if that's a rake, what was it on Hodges earlier on?
Through in the tackle there. Cameron Smith has got his hand on the football.
Parker now 8 metres away from the line. Roberts to Sivanasiva, back for Ben Hannant, and Hannant is held by Dallas Johnson in 13 on the ground. Michael Crocker or Garrett Crossman over the top. Now Perry driving it back into the middle to Manua, and Manua looking to get an arm free. Is tackled by Orbison underneath, and Cameron Smith over the top. Thaiday decides that he'll have a go. Reaches out and drops the ball. Now there's no advantage, I wouldn't think, for Melbourne. So he will probably rule a knock-on against Brisbane and take it eventually back out to the 20-metre line.
That will be it. We'll just go upstairs with the video referee just to make sure he didn't get it down. We saw from our angle that wasn't the case. Not a ball playing 5'8", you wouldn't say, Sam Thaiday.
It was their 7th try of the day, and it's no try, 20-metre restart. I'll tell you one thing, he went a lot closer than I thought he did, Sam Thaiday. I really thought that he dropped it a foot from the ground, but it was just a matter of centimetres.
Yeah, well, close enough is not good enough. The only time close is good is when you're throwing hand grenades. You don't have to be real accurate with that, but this Melbourne Storm team beaten in the grand final last year. Their coaches had one assignment this year, for this team to go one better. Ever since that game last year, which is a gut-wrenching experience to lose a grand final, ever since that game, everything's been directed towards getting another opportunity in the big show to get it right. And I just get the feeling this preparation has been timed to perfection. Everything that went wrong on grand final last year has been ticked off. They've remedied, they've talked about it, and they're getting it better. Look at this.
And the bat down from Melbourne for Crocker. He puts in a kick, he's after it, and he loses the ball.
Well, I think he might have tried to catch and pass in the one motion, knowing that it was still the last. Tangle of bodies there.
You've got to know Mick Crocker to know how funny that is. Him and Justin not just having a laugh. Mick Crocker is the sort of bloke, if he's running along at training on a Tuesday night, someone will put a kick in, and he'll chase it 1,000 miles an hour and bash into the crossbar just to catch it, with no thought of self-preservation.
Here's Roberts. There looked to be a head clash there. Not Roberts, but Michaels, I should say. Tackle just inside the 30-metre line. Now Petro winds it up, gets it out the back to Simpson. Simpson taken down. 7 metres short of halfway. This is Roberts. And across to Perry. Little kick looking for Darius Boyd. The bounce beats the front runners. Picked up by Ben Hannant. Got the ball away to Brad Thorne. And Thorne is away from a tackle.
He came up with an elbow here and hit him. Brad Thorne.
So Brad Thorne has cocked an elbow.
Yeah, he's saying Brad Thorne has hit Crocker on the chin with an elbow, which after you run into the crossbar doesn't feel all that bad. Here he is. Oh, crunch. Right on the viral in. And he's on retort.
Jeff Lima with the ball. Ben Aiken sideline.
Rabs, the afternoon just got a little bit rougher for the Brisbane Broncos. Their centre three-quarter, Nick Emmett, copped that severe concussion before. He will not be returning to the field.
So here's Melbourne with the razzle-dazzle football, and Slater getting it out to Clint Newton, who made this mid-season transfer from Newcastle to Melbourne. So people like him and Steve Turner, they must be thanking their lucky stars to be a part of this unit that is really on fire. Here's the ball coming across to Lima now, and jumping under 17, and he ran into Brad Thorne, who took a long time to get up, as Cooper Cronk puts a little kick over, and Brisbane clean it up with Darius Boyd. There was a bit of a misunderstanding there.
Yeah, he did well, Corey Parker, to be there, but it was a fairly ordinary attempt at catching the football. Again, that old firm that we're talking about combining there, Cronk for Slater. Corey Parker read it well.
Simpson played it. Roberts gave it. Teachers at Redcliffe State High School. It was Mick Roberts, PE teacher up there. Here he is giving it again to Manua. And he will play the ball 7 metres short of halfway. Lima, Newton and Crossman making the tackle. Roberts goes to the short side for Perry to put a kick in hurriedly from outside the 40. And it finds the touchline down at the 10-metre junction.
Petro Sivanasiva, 44 tackles, 9 hit-ups. I referred to him earlier in the game. He is leaving nothing left there in his last game for the Broncos. I watched Wayne Bennett circle amongst his troops at half-time. It's a terrible time of the day when you're in there with your team at half-time knowing you can't win and your season's going to be over. What do you say to them? And all I think he was saying was, you know, let's finish with a little bit of pride. Let's not this blow out. Keep your respect intact. And this second half is only 8-0. They haven't looked like scoring, but they haven't looked like getting blown away either.
Said last week when they were running out of troops, they should maybe put the playing strip on Ivan Henjak. Well, today I'll be looking at Alan Langer, who's sitting up in the box behind, to sneak out there. There he is.
Alfie over towards the left, and in front of him is Andrew G, who stoked some of the coals on the fire during the week. There's Ivan Henjak. They could put a fairly good side together. Bennett might get a run on the wing.
Coming together.
Sure play for Australia. It just brings into argument, I'll bring you in on this, Ray. Since the McIntyre system, Team 8 has never ever beaten Team 1, so it's pretty much a nothing game. Team 1 should win. But if you win that game and then you get a fortnight's break and you're winning this game, is it really good preparation? And now they're in sudden death situations, so what reward do they actually get out of being minor premiers other than a soft win, 2 weeks off, and then be vulnerable the next time they play?
This is Michaels. Well, I think Team 1 deserves to play Team 8, or you can say it the other way, Team 8 deserves to play Team 1. That's my side of the argument.
I don't think this should be a Team 8.
Exactly.
The Broncos won 11 games this season and lost 13. Their first semi-final with the way panned out this weekend. The Eels will take on the Bulldogs next Saturday night. That's at Telstra Stadium, 7:30 live. And then the following afternoon, we are up to Townsville. The Cowboys take on the Warriors at Dairy Farmers, 3:30 live on air.
See, the Bulldogs and the Warriors lost this weekend, but they survived. They get to go out and play and lose, but still survive. Now, if one's always going to beat 8, when do the minor premiers get to lose one and get a second bite of the cherry? They don't. They're not going to be beaten by 8. So they actually lose the opportunity to be beaten by a quality side and come back for a second bite. I think it's totally unfair.
This is Hannant with the ball on the 40-metre line. And now for Hodges. Hodges persevering. Ball going back for Hannant, who's taken by Orbison. And they're just inside the 30-metre line. Ball spun away by Corey Parker. Out to Perry. Puts a little kick in. Boyd is after, so is Michaels. Oh, Slater finished up out on the athletic track.
Did he get a touch first? Or did Steve Michaels take it out? He wanted it to go over the sideline, Billy Slater, and not have to play at it. And come at the same time, he pulls away. No, in fact, he does get the first touch. Pushes it on to Steve Michaels.
Crowd here today. Their figures have been good here in Melbourne. 15,500 here today. And I believe the first clod has been struck in the building of a rectangular ground here in Melbourne, as promised by the Brack government. So that's good news. They'll get something a little bit more modern than Olympic Park, I hope. Here's Hoffman, 20 metres away from his line. Roberts thought there was a knock on.
We've got a 14th man.
Ah, we've got a member of the public out there.
Got a bit of form too.
Matthew, this would be an ideal time to bring you into commentary.
Well, hang on. If you want to get the pictures, that my friends is called a gravel tackle. But mate, you can tell he's pretty excited about the rectangular ground, this bloke.
Hold, Broncos, hold!
You've got to put Matty King back in the action here. Now, that's not a bad play. That's not bad thinking from Craig Bellamy if, in fact, Matty King goes back out. He had that knock to his neck, and rather than him be tentative the next time he plays, he says, get out there, make a run, a couple of tackles, get it out of your head so it's not an issue next time we play.
Cronk then putting a kick in, and Sivanasiva was with it, and Clark's call was distinct. Brisbane ball, even though Dallas Johnson might have hung around in there thinking he might have got some favours from the referee. This is Michaels. Yeah, that's probably a debatable point, though. I'm just thinking to myself, Matt King came off with a neck injury. There's no need to run any further risks, but it would seem he's going back into the game.
Yeah, well, obviously the doctors cleared him, Rabbits.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and then confidence-wise, Bellamy says, well, if you're right, get out there and have a run.
Doctors cleared him without the help of X-rays, though.
Knock on Sam Friday.
Friday knocks on. Steve Clark, of course, has got his name there for his first grand final, but that in itself is an interesting subject. Who will get the grand final? Will it be Archer? Will it be Hayne? Hampstead? Clark? Any more nominations? 36-0 in favour of Melbourne. And a relaxed Craig Bellamy sits alongside Clint Newton. Here's Hoffman down the short side, and Sam Friday across and making the tackle. 5 metres in from the western touchline. Here's Anthony Quinn, and running it at Roberts, and Roberts takes him low. Hannant over the top. 30-metre line. Smith away for Crossman, and Crossman is down to the 20-metre line, centre of the ground. Cameron away again for Cronk. A run around with Smith. The pass to Folau might have been forward. Folau will play the ball 10 metres out. Sivanasiva made the tackle. Cooper Cronk, Cameron Smith behind Johnson to Hoffman. Hoffman got it away. Melbourne are in again, and Matty King. Matty King, it was a good move, Gus.
How's your neck now, baby?
Well, well, well.
Well, his first touch back on, and a brilliant ball from Ryan Hoffman, who's been almost unstoppable this afternoon. Backline movement again. Cameron Smith at first receiver. Ryan Hoffman tucks it under the arm. Tries to get between two big, strong defenders. Pops the pass backwards. King down low, dives over. Nice to be back.
Folau from 20 out, 10 in. Manly and Melbourne to take a week's rest. Folau looks like he just absolutely gave that a touch. didn't look to have any effort in at all. And King, the try scorer.
So watch how hard he goes in here. He gets it down low too. Now that's how he hurt his neck going in low. So like I said, that's a real confidence booster in the coach. You know, there'd have been a bit of concern in the coach's mind. Am I doing the right thing? But, you know, I think it's a brave play and a sensible play to put him out there, be there for the final few moments, and then there's no issue of his neck injury next time he plays, and he's got the big result there. He's got the try. Everything going well for Craig Bellamy. Oh, they're going to be hard to beat. Is this Lima?
Well, after that try was scored, Cooper Cronk was brought off the field by Craig Bellamy. He had an injury, Cooper Cronk, 7-8 weeks ago. Looked a touch tentative when he came back, but I think he's been their best out there this afternoon. And his body language at the start of this game was better than anybody's. He was bouncing up and down. He was ready to go. He was in control.
See, that's another thing on Craig Bellamy. That man who just took the ball up, Garrett Crossman. Now, he's got another fellow there by the name of Adam Blair. He's a fairly handy conveyance. It was a choice between Crossman and Blair, and everyone thought he'd go with Blair because he's got the most experience. But Bellamy rewarded the work ethic of Crossman at training. Said he's been training the house down, been putting in on everything, where the other blokes a little bit casual at times. So what he was saying to his team was, I'm going to reward excellence, not reputation. And Crossman got the nod. It's all mind games.
Boyd taking the bomb from Cameron Smith, and then he was chased down by Matt Geyer, who hasn't taken his foot off the pedal at all. Melbourne still with one change. Here's Eastwood.
Sivanasiva's hit 50 tackles for the game.
And he's on the end of this tackle from Anthony Quinn, and Jeremy Smith comes in to make it even more uncomfortable. Petro still smiling though. Now Nick Kenny tackled on the 20-metre line. Just reminding you that next Saturday night, that all-Sydney blockbuster final, the Eels versus the Bulldogs at 7:30, live on 9 from Telstra. That's a decision that's just been taken. There was a chance it might have gone to the Sydney Football Stadium, but it's going to Telstra. Brisbane on the attack. Are they going to make the line for the first time? He puts it back inside for Boyd. Boyd gets it away, and Brisbane run out of tackles 9 metres from the line.
Well, it was 2-on-1. Steve Michael's a quick man. He had a quicker man on his inside, Darius Boyd, and Billy Slater has somehow got in between them. He might have a fairly sensitive injury there.
Well, he did what Matty Bowen did a couple of times to the Bulldogs last night. He just bought some time with his speed and ended up mucking them up. But he is still down in the back play. I think he'll get out of it.
Talking of Matty Bowen, of course, the Cowboys next Sunday against the Warriors. You'll see that live at 3:30 next Sunday. The Cowboys taking on the Warriors. So it's Eels Bulldogs Saturday night, Cowboys Warriors Sunday afternoon. Both matches live.
So we've got two absolute arch rivals, especially when it comes to finals football on Saturday night, and then a great contrast in styles with the Warriors up against the Cowboys. And obviously the Melbourne Storm and the Manly Seagulls sit back and watch on with that week's break.
It'll be interesting up there in North Queensland. We were up there in Townsville yesterday. I can tell you at 4 p.m. it was really hot. It was hot and humid, and that won't suit the Warriors. But then I look and see that the Cowboys have had 2-day games this year. Everything else they've played has been at night, and in the 2-day games they got flogged. So whilst people will say it probably doesn't suit the Warriors, I'm just wondering whether or not the daytime conditions are right up the Cowboys' alley. It'll be an interesting one.
Sivanasiva is 15 metres away from the unreachable try line. Here's Perry out to Carlaw, who hits and spins, and then Parker. And Parker's into touch, and Melbourne are going to take the intensity right down to full time.
Well, South Sydney have been great at keeping the opposition up over the try line. Melbourne Storm are the best at taking the opposition over the sideline. Done that plenty of times this afternoon with that well-drilled, well-organised, a defence they understand. Across he goes. The Brisbane Broncos this season, obviously hamstrung by injury late in the season, but they've been unable to do what so many other premiers have been unable to do for well over a decade now, and that's defend a title. They lose Sean Berrigan. He's off overseas. They've unearthed some good talent. Dave Taylor looks like a player of the future, missing today with a broken hand, but Looks like he could be a real force. Darius Boyd's had a good season. Problem still exists around the halves. The number 7, gone back to Shane Perry at the end of the season. They have bought a couple of players in Peter Wallace, Joel Clinton. Ashton Sims is going up there next year.
Just looking at the stats on Melbourne here at Olympic Park, the last 8 matches will make it 9 now. They've scored 276 points for and conceded 46, which is an average of around about 34 to 6 per game. Folau down the right side, gets the ball to Turner, and Turner's kick goes over the sideline. That is it. There is no more. Not this year for Brisbane. And sadly, in the Brisbane jumper, no more for Petro Civoniceva. No more for Dane Carlaw, for Brad Thorne, for Sean Barrigan, and for Brent Tate. I think of those players as Melbourne put the Brisbane Broncos to the sword.